I kind of fell off of him. So when I met him, I said, I always liked you, and this year you were kind of a DICK. Can I say that?
Pop royalty meets NFL chaos, and someone actually calls Travis Kelce the D word right in front of Taylor Swift. First up, Hollywood actor Josh Charles reveals what really went down during a tense Fortnight set moment that wasn't a fight, but was definitely spicy.
I've always liked Travis Kelce. I just thought he was so cool. But that year that they beat us in the AFC Championship game, they beat the Ravens, he was a real jerk that year.
And then the Chiefs may be preparing to break Taylor's heart by moving on from her second favorite player, Isiah Pacheco. And so on. Swift mysteriously skips the season finale as Kelce retirement rumors explode online. Finally, Josh clears the air on the confrontation and why Kelce just laughed it off.
He laughed. He was like, you know what, you're right. He goes, I'm going to tell you why, because we marked down that game against your team as the...
Picture this. You're on the set of a Taylor Swift music video. The vibes are immaculate. The lighting is doing that expensive cinematic thing, and everyone's acting like they're in a perfume commercial. And then one Hollywood guy casually walks up to Travis Kelce, yes, that Travis Kelce, now Taylor's fiancé, walking human golden retriever energy, and basically tells him to his face that he's been acting like a total, That guy is Josh Charles. You've seen him in big deal projects like Dead Poets Society, The Good Wife, and The Handmaid's Tale, and in 2024 he popped up in Swift's Fortnight video from the Tortured Poets department. The video was already stacked because Ethan Hawke was there too. Imagine pulling up to a music video set and it's basically an acting masterclass disguised as pop culture chaos. Now here's where it gets juicy. According to insiders, there had been this running joke that Josh Charles and Kelce had some kind of fight on set, like people were imagining full WWE energy, chairs flying, Taylor Swift in the background writing a bridge about it. But that's not what happened at all. Not even close. It wasn't a fight. It was more like the kind of brutally honest moment you only get when someone's sports loyalty is deep, personal, and a little irrational, which is basically every true football fan ever.
That you got in a fight with Travis Kelce on set.
Yeah, a fight. No, he exaggerated this. I saw the interview you're talking about. No, it wasn't a fight. It was just...
See, Josh Charles isn't just casually into football the way some people are into astrology. He's a Baltimore guy, a Ravens guy, like I will remember this playoff loss until my last breath levels of Ravens guy. And if you know anything about Ravens fans, it's that their love is loud and their grudges are louder. So rewind for a second. The tension apparently goes all the way back to the 2023 AFC Championship game, Ravens versus Chiefs. Big game, huge stakes, absolute stress fest for anyone emotionally invested. And Travis Kelce came into that matchup on full villain mode. Not like boo I'm evil, but like I'm going to be the loudest, most annoying, confident guy on this field and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. There was also that moment pre-game when Kelce's behavior got people talking because he was messing around near warm-ups and it ended up turning heads, including with Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. It was the kind of thing that makes opposing fans scream, clutch their chest, and post angry tweets with 17 exclamation marks. Kansas City won that game 17-10, and then, because life is unfair, they went on to win another Super Bowl after that. For Baltimore fans like Josh Charles, it wasn't just a loss, it was a core memory. The type that lives rent-free forever. And apparently, while he'd always thought Kelce was cool before that season, the way Kelce carried himself during that playoff run had him feeling some type of way. Like, wow, you're talented, but also, why are you like this energy?
I've always liked Travis Kelce. I just thought he was so cool. But that year that they beat us in the AFC Championship game, they beat the Ravens, he was a real jerk that year. And
so fast forward, Josh Charles shows up on the Fortnight set, he's in Taylor Swift world, and boom, there's Travis Kelce. And instead of doing the normal celebrity thing where everyone pretends they've never experienced a human emotion before, Josh just goes for it. He basically told Kelce that he'd always liked him, but that year he was kind of a dick. In front of Taylor. Like, sir, bold choice, fearless even, very on brand for someone who stood in the emotional ruins of a playoff loss and decided honesty is the only language left.
I kind of fell off of him. So when I met him, I said, I always liked you, and this year you were kind of a DICK. Can I say that?
And here's the part that makes Kelce Kelce. Apparently he didn't get offended. He didn't go, excuse me. He didn't puff up. He didn't do that fake laugh people do when they're about to hate you forever. He actually laughed it off and owned it. Like, yeah, let me explain myself. The explanation, according to sources, was basically this. The Chiefs saw Baltimore as their biggest threat that season, like the team they were genuinely worried about. So Kelce came in with swagger turned up to 11 on purpose, because sometimes the whole strategy is to get in your opponent's head before the first snap even happens. He leaned into being the irritant. He leaned into being the guy who looks like he's having too much fun. And from his perspective, it worked, because the Chiefs got the Ravens rattled, drew mistakes, and won the game. A hate me now, thank me later approach, except nobody thanks you later, they just hate you more.
He laughed. He was like, you know what, you're right. He goes, I'm going to tell you why, because we marked down that game against your team as if we could win that game, we were most worried about that game, then I knew. So he's like, I had to come in with some swagger.
Kelce can be chaotic on the field, but off it, he's exactly what people say he is. A genuinely good dude who can take a hit, even when the hit is verbal and delivered with the enthusiasm of a Ravens fan who's still emotionally processing January 2024. And while Kelce is proving he can take a verbal punch like a champ, the Chiefs are apparently about to deliver a different kind of hit, straight to Taylor Swift's feelings, because insiders say Kansas City is gearing up to move on from running back Isiah Pacheco, a.k.a. the guy who somehow became her second favorite Chief behind her fiancé. And honestly, that's brutal. Imagine being second favorite in Taylor's NFL era and still getting the corporate "we're going in a different direction" email. This is one of those classic NFL offseason moves where the team puts on its calculator glasses and starts talking about getting cheaper and younger, which is basically sports code for "thanks for the memories, but we found a rookie who costs less than a Starbucks habit." Pacheco's season didn't exactly help his case either. He came back from a knee injury in late November, and while everyone loves a comeback story, the stats reportedly didn't come back with him. Over his last 5 games, he couldn't crack more than 35 rushing yards in any one outing, which is not exactly the kind of output that makes coaches start writing love letters. And that's why people close to the situation say the Chiefs are viewing him as surplus to requirements, which is such a cold phrase, by the way. Surplus to requirements sounds like a box of extra screws from IKEA, not a 2-time Super Bowl champ who runs like he's powered by pure rage and adrenaline. But that's the league for you. One minute you're a human battering ram, the next minute you're being replaced by a rookie named Brashard Smith who probably still has his college meal plan active. Still, Pacheco's resume is stacked. 2 Super Bowl rings, big postseason moments, and a reputation for running like he's trying to personally fight the turf. And yes, his connection to Swift became a whole thing during the playoff run when cameras kept catching her in the stands, basically doing live reaction content without even trying. She showed him love in her own way. Little nods, jersey number appreciation, the whole ICU superstar stamp of approval, which, let's be real, is probably worth more than most endorsement deals.
What a run! Finishes downhill!
And with the Chiefs already making Swifties nervous about who's staying and who's getting the thanks for your service handshake, now Taylor straight up skips the season finale, while Travis's retirement rumors start doing laps around the internet like they're training for a marathon. Taylor wasn't spotted at Allegiant Stadium when Kansas City took a loss to the Raiders on Sunday, and the moment fans realized she wasn't there, the conspiracy theories practically assembled themselves like Avengers. Taylor has basically been a regular character in the Chiefs universe for the last 2 seasons, so her absence instantly had people zooming in like FBI agents with Wi-Fi. And since this game might have been Kelce's last regular season appearance, the timing had everyone acting like they just found a hidden message in a Taylor lyric. Some fans were convinced it meant she knows something big is coming, like a retirement announcement, a secret plan, or at minimum a dramatic what's next conversation happening off camera. But there's a much simpler explanation: security. Taylor reportedly doesn't love rolling up to away games because, well, she's Taylor Swift. She can't exactly grab a hot dog and casually blend into the crowd. So she's been showing up more at Arrowhead, where the setup is more controlled, and that tracks with her recent appearances, Christmas Day against the Broncos, plus that December 18th game against the Chargers. And speaking of the Chargers, sources remind us the Chiefs were already out of the playoff picture after that December 14th loss. So this finale wasn't exactly a win and in situation, more like a please end the season gently situation. So while the Chiefs drama has Swifties refreshing their timelines like it's their full-time job, Josh Charles finally clears up what really went down with Travis Kelce on that Fortnight set, and spoiler, it wasn't some WWE cage match, it was basically 2 dudes having a spicy little football therapy session. Sources say Josh walked in, saw Kelce, and immediately chose violence. Verbally. Like no warm-up, no small talk, just straight to calling him out for acting messy back when the Chiefs beat the Ravens, and honestly, that's the most Baltimore thing ever.
I kind of fell off of him. So when I met him, I said, I always liked you. And this year you were kind of a DICK. Can I say that?
But Kelce didn't get all sensitive or defensive. He laughed it off like a man who knows he's lovable but also knows he was absolutely being a menace that season. He even explained that the Chiefs were low-key.
He laughed. He was like, you know what, you're right. He goes, I'm going to tell you why, because we marked down that game against your team as if we could win that game, we were most worried about that game, then I knew. So he's like, I had to come in with some swagger.
That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.